Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So today, very exciting video. So as you can probably tell from the title, I have collaborated once again with TaterRounds Beauty. So exciting. And as I've done an opera themed collection with them before, about 2 years ago, around this time actually, funny now that I think about it. So I have created an Absinthe themed eyeshadow collection. Here's what the little pots look like. I don't know if you can see that, but they're gorgeous. I love this collection. It's beautiful. And this collection is called Absinthe Emerald Seduction. So, I'm so excited. I'm so sorry. I'm just really pumped. So to be perfectly honest, I had been sitting on making an Absinthe themed collection for quite some time, but a couple things happened that kind of prompted me to put my foot down, create it, and share it with you guys. So basically what happened is a couple of people shared with me some Absinthe-inspired collections by some other brands, one of them being Notoriously Morbid Cosmetics, which is a smaller makeup brand, and I have bought from them before, and I really did enjoy what I have purchased from them in the past. Really high quality stuff, really good. I like them. However, let's just say I took issue with their Absinthe and Lace collection that they did earlier this year. Needless to say, it kind of broke my heart. And then someone else on a separate occasion sent me this eyeshadow palette by BH Cosmetics. And unfortunately, it was kind of a similar thing, but I will get into my issues with both of those palettes. So again, this isn't me bashing the entire company. This is just me saying, hey, I take issue with these collections because they are spreading narratives that I actively try to, dispel and debunk here on my channel. And it really, really saddens me that both of these companies decided to play up on the myths and misconceptions of Absinthe in order to sell their product. So that's really disappointing. So the first one I mentioned was the collection made by Notoriously Morbid, and this one was called the Absinthe and Lace collection. So ordinarily, cool. I might find the idea of an Absinthe themed palette pretty fantastic, pretty rad, but the problem is you need to do it right. You need to not send the wrong message, and unfortunately they decided to send the wrong message. So as far as the Absinthe and Lace collection that was created by Notoriously Morbid Cosmetics, for one thing, I don't really like the color scheme of the entire palette. Like, I've shown this to a couple of people and they agree that it's a little, I'm just going to say it, ghastly. It's a little, the color scheme doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. These colors do not look like they would go together very well, or at least most of them wouldn't. So that's my first issue with that. And my next issue is what they decided to name a couple of the shades. Now, most of them, not too bad. I don't really have any issue with it. But the ones that I took the most issue with are the shades Holy Hallucinogenic and Flames and Sugar. So Holy Hallucinogenic, honestly, you guys probably already know where I'm coming from with that one, where, they're planting the idea in people's heads that Absinthe is hallucinogenic. Don't dig it. I'm not okay with that. And then with Flames and Sugar, again, I'm not going to police how people prepare their Absinthe. I'm just going to tell them that if they do prepare it with flames, then they are going to be literally setting their money on fire and diminishing the quality and the enjoyment of the Absinthe product. So I did take a whole ass issue with that. I really did. So then the next offender, which is the Absinthe collection by BH Cosmetics, I guess this is a part of a larger kind of collection of palettes that they decided to call Pick Your Poison. So ordinarily I wouldn't have an issue with them calling it Pick Your Poison because they have other palettes that refer to other things that were considered like, you know, forbidden or deadly or whatever. But when you combine that this is part of a larger collection called Pick Your Poison, and they decided to name one of the shades in here Trippy, then again, you see what my objection is here. And then another shade that they have in here is called Blackout. And again, I'm not cool with that. I can't let that fly. So after being shown the release of these two palettes, I was kind of disappointed, a little bit frustrated by that. And I'm just like, dude, it's bad enough that people already believe the misconceptions about Absinthe, but to have it leak into the world of makeup, that sucks. And I do really like makeup. I honestly do. Obviously, I spend a lot of time on it when I do wear it. Again, it's really saddening to see this happen. It just really sucks. So, being someone who really enjoys makeup and someone who loves Absinthe, that was kind of the final straw for me to put my foot down and create this collection with TaterRounds Beauty. So not only did I want to steer people away from the misconceptions about Absinthe, but I also wanted to create a narrative that tells the truth about Absinthe with the names of these shades. And this is, again, coming from someone who's very passionate about Absinthe and very passionate about educating people properly about Absinthe. So I'm going to share my collection with you guys. I am so excited about it, and I can't wait for you guys to get your paws on it if you feel like it's something that is essential in your collection, or if you just want a couple of the shades, don't want to buy the whole thing, that's totally fine. And I just want to say, for the sake of transparency, I am going to be making a small commission on the sale of these eyeshadows. For singles, I'm getting a really small percentage, and then for the entire collection, I'm getting a 10% commission for that. So I do want to let you guys know that, for the sake of complete and total transparency, that I am going to be getting some of the profit from this, because, you know, I was kind of the brains behind this, and Victoria of TaterRounds Beauty was the execution and the manpower behind it, or the woman power, I should say. So let me go through the shades and tell you the inspiration behind these shades, because they are incredible. I love them. They are such good quality, and I'll shut up and start going into it. I'm sorry, I just got really excited. So the first shade in my collection is called Belle Book. And this is, okay, I know, I was a little bit freaked out when I saw this in the pan when I first got it, but don't worry. This is more of like a fleshy ivory color, not so much of like a pinky color, because when you do put it on and do blend it out, it does turn like a really nice fleshy ivory. So I felt like this was a really nice way to kind of act as a base, or as a highlight shade, or like a setting powder kind of shade to go over your eyeshadow primer. So I really like how this turned out. It was kind of inspired by like pale flowers, and a little bit inspired by some of the beautiful sculptures that we associate with the Belle Book era. And the reason why I named it this shade is because the Belle Book was the height of Absinthe's popularity in the 19th century, and that means beautiful era. It went from the 1870s or the 1880s all the way up to World War I, which was 1914. Or in this case, you know, the end of the Preband era in 1915. So that's really cool. So the next shade I have here is called Preband. So you can't really tell much here, but I will have a little screenshot for you to see the swatch and what it looks like in the pan and everything. This is a really beautiful kind of green toned beige, and this acts as a wonderful transitional shade for any kind of green look that you want to create. So I really like how this turned out. This was actually inspired by the Preband Absinthe that I did a review of 1 or 2 years ago, because I really wanted to capture the essence of that color. So the kind of beigey base for this really reminds me of the aged look of the Absinthe after I added water to it. So it was indeed Preband Absinthe that inspired this shade right here. It's lovely. And the next shade is called Louche. And I do want to make note that if you do look at Preband and Louche next to each other, if you're not looking carefully enough, they can look like almost the same exact color, but I can assure you they are most definitely not the same exact color. This one is more inspired by what modern absinthes look like after you add water to them, not so much the Preband shade where it looks a little bit more muted, that sort of thing. So this one has a little bit more of like a beigey or like olive undertone, and this one is a little bit more like a pale green, kind of a little grassy, I guess. So these look like similar colors or the exact same color, but I promise you they are not. They each serve their purpose very, very well in my opinion. And the next shade I would like to discuss is Lafevelt, which is one of my favorite shades in this collection. It is one of the shades that I was absolutely most excited about. It's beautiful. It is such a gorgeous shade of olive green, and I really wanted something that would match my lipstick that I'm wearing today, which is Hazel by Black Moon Cosmetics. Really beautiful. And I've been dying for TaterRounds Beauty to create an olive green, like a matte olive green eyeshadow. Really lovely. And if you're interested in a shimmery version of this, she actually does have one on her website. It is called Envious. It's a really gorgeous, like sparkling olive green. So if you want like a sparkly version of this, that will do you. But I just can't get enough of this color. It's beautiful. It goes so well with my skin tone because I have olive undertones in my skin. I really like how it came out. It's lovely. It's beautiful. So the next shade I'm going to be discussing here is called Inspiration, and this was inspired by all of the poets and writers and artists that were inspired by Absinthe, so kind of representing that spark of genius. I kind of played off of the color Louche a little bit and made this a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more sparkly. It's a really nice highlight shade. I really like how this came out. Really lovely. And next is Inspiration's very near and dear cousin. This one is called Vintage. So here's what this looks like. And again, I will have screenshots nearby so you can get a better look at it. So Vintage is like a really pretty muted gold with hints of green. So as the name kind of implies, this was inspired by the vintage 1930 absinthe that I got as a wedding gift from Dr. Justin Sledge. So I thought that having like a muted gold would be really fitting for this collection, and I also wanted to capture the essence of that vintage absinthe that was made in Spain in 1930, so that's what inspired this one. So as you can see, my collection is inspired by absinthes that I have drunk, the legacy of absinthe, and it's just really lovely. I'm really happy with how this came out. So the next shade is another one that I was super excited about, and the color in the pan does look a little bit deceiving, but I promise this goes on super metallic silver. Anyway, this one is called Absinthe Spoon. So here it is, and I'll put a screenshot next to me as well. So this is a gorgeous kind of antique metallic silver color. So I'm actually wearing it on the inside of my lid right here. You can see how opaque and metallic and sparkly that is. That is gorgeous. I've been waiting for TaterRounds Beauty to create a color like this also because it's beautiful. And I also wanted to do something that was inspired by absinthe spoons because absinthe spoons are beautiful. It's one of my favorite things about collecting absinthe accoutrement. Just really lovely. I really, really like how that came out, and it's one of my favorite colors in this collection. All right, so the next shade is called Bottle. So this is a really beautiful dark emerald, or kind of like a blackened emerald with like emerald and green and gold reflex to it. It's really, 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 really pretty. Like, I can't get over how gorgeous this is. And this one was, I didn't originally intend for this to be sparkly. It just kind of happened to turn out sparkly because I really like how Victoria made it, because she kind of spaced out and didn't realize that I said I wanted that to be a matte color, but I really like how this turned out because it reminds me of like bottles glittering in candlelight in a dark absinthe cafe on the shelf. So that's what I wanted this to kind of represent. So it's really pretty. I like how it turned out. It's a really nice darkened emerald. It's going to look amazing with so many looks. Trust me on this. And this next one is Absinthe Cafe. So it's this really pretty kind of medium green, and it's really classic. It kind of a little bit reminds me of like old pool table velvet. So that's what it kind of looks like. It's really, really pretty. It's a matte color. Another thing I like about it is that since I didn't originally suggest this color, Victoria kind of came up with it on her own, and she was just like, hey, what do you think of this? I think they would look really good with your color scheme. So I checked it out and I'm just like, dude, that reminds me of the Victorian green parlor lamps that I am absolutely obsessed with. Let's do it! I love it. And I'll show you a picture of one of those lamps that I'm talking about because they're beautiful and I love them. And it's awesome to see that represented in this shade as well, like another beautiful piece of the Victorian era or of the Belle Book. Just really lovely. I am pleasantly surprised by this one. Really cute. Gorgeous. And last but not least is Le Rêve. So this is a blackened green and it kind of has a little bit of a teal undertone. Super pretty. I'm really happy with how it came out. And when I was actually showing my husband the swatches for these, as I was kind of going through the process of kind of approving all the colors, he specifically pointed to this color and said, I really like that one. And trust me, when my husband likes it, it's pretty good. So like I said, it's like a blackened emerald with a little hint of teal to it. Really, really pretty. And the reason why I named this one Le Rêve is because I wanted to kind of think and pay tribute to artists that were pursuing their dreams and that were inspired by absinthe. And Le Rêve is also the name of a cafe or a club in Paris during the Belle Book, and that club in particular was famous for serving absinthe, so that's pretty cool. And I think the club may, like now that I'm thinking about it, it may have been Au Rêve or Le Rêve, I'm not exactly sure, but when I name it The Dream, which is what Le Rêve means in French, it just, you know, following your dreams. That's what that represents to me. So those are all 10 shades in the collection, and next what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little tutorial for how I created this eye look. So stay tuned for that, and if you don't want to see it, then I will leave a timestamp in the description. Alright guys, so here's the part in the video where I teach you guys how I made this look. Really excited about it. It's beautiful. I really love these eyeshadows, as my husband will tell you. They are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really excited for you guys to get them if you feel like they belong in your collection. So again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. So let's get started. Okay, so for the sake of time, I have already done my base, which really honestly isn't all that much. I have done my highlight, contour, well, I've done highlight on this side, not this side. Highlighting, contouring. I have not yet applied the base for my actual eye makeup yet for this side, so that's what I'm going to do now. So if you guys haven't gotten this yet, you need to. This is the NYX Pigment Primer. You can get this on their website. I don't think that they sell it via Target, but it's definitely worth getting. It is basically bulletproof. I love that. So I just apply that with my finger here. Yeah, this look is actually super easy to do, and honestly, it took me a lot less time than I thought it would. So definitely looking forward to seeing how you guys create looks with this collection. And if you do get this collection, feel free to please tag me and TaterRounds Beauty on Instagram and whatever other social media there is, so that we can see your looks and share them on our social media, because I think that's super awesome. And that's one thing I got really excited about when I released my previous collection with TaterRounds Beauty, is seeing the looks that were created with the Amore e Morte collection. Really beautiful. I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with, because honestly, these colors are gorgeous. Really love what we did here. To be totally honest, I only originally wanted to create like only 8 shades like I did last time, but the additional colors that Victoria and I of TaterRounds Beauty came up with just fit really, really well with this collection. So we wanted to include them and kind of make a 10 color collection here. So I'm just applying some setting powder, and now we can get into it with the look. So exciting. So the first shade I'm going to be using is Preband, and these eyeshadows again are loose pigments. So some people may find loose pigments a little bit tricky to deal with, but once you get used to it, it's pretty smooth sailing. So I'm using this large fluffy crease brush to just spread it around and get it all in there. Lovely. So this is a really pretty kind of like beigey green color, and that's almost exactly the color of the Preband Absinthe I had, so that's the inspiration behind this shade. Really pretty. And I feel like this is an essential shade for doing any kind of like green look as a transitional shade. And that's exactly how and why I created it. It is lovely. So all over the top, all over the bottom. Beautiful. Really gorgeous color. Can you guys even see that? Let me turn down the light on my ring light just a little bit and see if that'll help. Okay, yeah, you can see that a lot better. Sorry about that. Whoopsie. Yeah, I can never tell with the ring light, to be honest. So next, this seems a little bit contradictory, but I'm going to be going in with this dark shade called Le Rêve, which means the dream in French. And this actually was an absinthe cafe or a club where absinthe was served in the 19th century, and I do believe that this club is still in existence today. So I wanted to name a shade after that. It might be like Au Rêve or Le Rêve, I'm not really terribly sure. I thought it was really cool to name a shade after that because I wanted this collection to tell the truth about the history of absinthe and its legacy. I did not want this to be like, oh, trippy, hallucinogenic, gonna trip balls, meh. I didn't want anything like that to represent this collection, and that's kind of what was the final push for me to create this collection, because I'd been kind of sitting on it, thinking about it for a while, like I said, and I didn't want those narratives that was being pushed by those other makeup brands to fly. I really didn't. Because, you know, I work really hard to dispel those narratives on my channel, and when I see makeup companies coming out and playing up on those misconceptions, I kind of have a whole ass problem with that. As you guys can probably imagine, and those of you guys who've been following my YouTube channel and my absinthe content specifically for a while. I'm also just lightly dusting it along the lower lash line as well, so I can blend that out later with a different color. So as you can see, I'm going pretty lightly with this. It's a really pretty kind of like dark emerald with a tiny little hint of teal. It's really, really pretty. And it's a really nice shade for kind of deepening the colors for this look. All right, so the next shade we're going to be using is my absolute favorite one of the ones I was most excited about. This is Lafevelt, and this is a beautiful olive, and this was inspired by some of the absinthes that I have drunk that have a really beautiful olive tone to them, because a lot of the best absinthes that I have ever had have had a beautiful olive tone. And I also wanted a green eyeshadow that would match my Hazel lipstick by Black Moon Cosmetics, and I think that this really hit it out of the park. This is beautiful. It's a little muted, it's a little grungy, just a little bit, and it's a really, really gorgeous color even just by itself. But I am blending this along with Le Rêve and blending it into Preband. Really gorgeous. Yeah, this is such a gorgeous color. Oh my god. Like, seriously, look. Just look at it. Come on. It's beautiful. Yeah, every now and then I will get requests to do like tutorials for looks that I do on my Instagram posts, and I can totally understand why. And I've explained my reasons for not doing like a lot of makeup tutorials on my channel, but I felt like today I'd just give you guys a special treat and show you how I created this look with the launch of my new collection with TaterRounds Beauty. Even this on its own would be a really pretty color, but obviously I'm going to go in there with the sparkly silver shade that you guys see here, because it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. This is like green porn. I'll be honest, like sometimes I do get viewers who watch my Absinthe reviews and they're just like, oh my god, you're sometimes they'll say like my the louche videos, especially the ones I post on TikTok where I will film them in slow motion, which is so much fun, by the way. They'll be like, oh my god, that's so satisfying to watch, and I'm just like, I know, it's wonderful. And this shade of green here is just so satisfying. It sounds weird, but it's true. And I'm going in with a smaller kind of smudge brush to kind of bring that along the lower lash line. And I will add a little bit more of Le Rêve along the lash line to kind of deepen that just a little bit. This is such a gorgeous color, oh my god. So pretty. It's gorgeous. And I just want to make it known here that I am by no means a professional like makeup artist or anything. I've never gone to school for it, never had any training. I just follow a select few people on YouTube that have really good makeup skills. One of them, for instance, being my friend Ashley, who hails from Minnesota. I love her. She has wicked makeup skills, of course, because she used to work for MAC. So it's understandable that she is highly, highly skilled in that area. Just going in with Le Rêve here on the lower lash line. Really pretty. And I'm going to blend that out just a little bit with that bigger crease brush with Lafevelt. Gotta blend it out. Blending is super important. As the mom says in Edward Scissorhands, blending is the secret. It really is. Okay, now comes the time where I'm going to go in with this ivory shade. Now, I know in the pan, and especially when you like get it in person, it will look a little pink, but don't panic. This is more like a fleshy ivory color, not so much of a pink. So seriously, do not panic when it blends out and actually goes and gets swatched on the skin. It will appear like a fleshy ivory. And this one is called Belle Book. Really nice shade, really lovely to blend out. Blends everything out like a dream. Kind of a little bit of fallout there. Honestly, like part of me wants to leave the look like this just because that Lafevelt shade is so stunning. But I really want to bring in Absinthe Spoon because that's another shade in this collection that I was really, really excited about. Like, so pumped. Going in with my NYX glitter primer, just a tiny itty bitty bit. Oh man, don't tell me that one's exploding too. Fuck. Okay, fine, whatever. So I'm going in and applying the NYX glitter primer, which is going to help the Absinthe Spoon shade really, really pop and help kind of blend it out just a little bit. It was a little difficult to blend it out over here because I didn't do it quite right on this side, but that's okay. My husband actually pointed out to me, he's just like, oh, you know, that line right there is a little bit harsh. You might want to blend that out a little. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That's one thing I really love about my husband is that he is, I wouldn't necessarily say he's effeminate, but he's very in touch with his feminine side. And when I ask him advice on like makeup or jewelry, he definitely takes it into account. He's not dismissive. He's just really sweet and understanding about it and gives his input. So I appreciate that about him. As a matter of fact, one thing I really love about Kenny, and here is Absinthe Spoon on the brush. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm gonna start going in there. Gosh, that is so opaque. It's beautiful. But one thing that I appreciate about Kenny is that he remembers shades of lipstick and eyeshadow that I wear. And he'll say, I really like that eyeshadow, or I really like that shade. What is it? And he'll actually like ask me the name of the shade so that he remembers it. Like, the red lipstick that you will most often catch me wearing, which is like a really brilliant, like true, like blood red lipstick, is Mortis by Black Moon Cosmetics. It is my go-to red, and as a matter of fact, I actually got Angela Benedict, my big Libra goth sister from another mister, hooked on it as well. But anywho, so Kenny really loves that shade of lipstick, Mortis, because it's just really beautiful, and he likes, like, his favorite color is purple. He really loves purple, but he also really likes certain shades of red. So it's not a surprise that he would dig that color. Yeah, I'll probably get a little bit more of Lafevelt to soften that edge a little bit. I think I did slightly better on this side than I did the other side, but I just like making sure and covering my bases, so to speak. There we go, that's better. So last but not least, I'm going in with the shade Vintage, with this, which is kind of like a really pretty muted gold color, and I put this on the inner corner on this side, so that's what I'm going to do on this side because it is really lovely. It works as a really nice highlight shade, and it's shimmery and has a little hint of green in there. This shade, like I said before, is inspired by the, sorry, not the Preband Absinthe, but the vintage Absinthe from 1930 that was made in Spain that I received as a wedding gift. And because that's a really special one in my collection, I wanted it to be represented here in this eyeshadow collection. So yeah, like, look at that. It's so pretty. And it, like I said, it's just a very muted gold, and I think it's a really nice contrast against the antique silver. Really pretty. And I'm also going to put a little bit up here on the arch of my brow bone. Really nice, kind of like an extra little highlight there. If I weren't sitting here and talking to you guys, it probably wouldn't have taken as long, but you know, I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Alright, so going on with eyeliner. This is the Epic Ink Liner by NYX. So, I'm gonna go in there. And I use a magnified mirror for this so that I can make sure that the lines of my eyeliner are sharp enough to cut a bitch. Surprisingly, it turned out pretty well. I do, as most people do, struggle with making the wings of your eyeliner a little bit symmetrical. You know, I try. Alright, so that side is good to go. Really gorgeous. I'm gonna see if I can blend that out just a little bit more. Damn. Yeah, that that silver is so opaque that it doesn't want to blend very much, but that's okay. I can get in there. There we go. Okay, that helped a lot. Great. Beautiful. Lovely. That really helped. I just went in with Lafevelt and blended it out just a little bit more. Just a touch. And for those of you wondering, this is the Green Lash Princess Mascara by, I think, Essence? Let me see here. Yes, Essence. Really, really, really like this mascara. It's probably like the best mascara I've ever had. This was recommended to me by my friend Ashley. So once again, I am not by any means a makeup artist or anything like that, any of the sort. No training whatsoever. I just follow the right beauty content creators that can actually give you good tips for creating amazing looks. And also give you kind of honest reviews about the products that they use. Literally, no joke, this mascara is $5, and to be honest, before this one I've been using like Urban Decay ones. I've used the Better Than Sex mascara by Too Faced. So I've spent, significant amount of money on like more high-end mascaras, so to speak, but this one performs the absolute best out of all that I've ever used. So that tells you how good it is, okay? And it's affordable. It's only $5 for fuck's sake. All right. lining my waterline with white because that's what I do, because I have really weirdly shaped eyes and I like to make them look a little more open. There we go. I like to make my eyes look a little more pronounced, a little bigger, you know. I've discovered recently that putting on highlighter with a smaller brush is better than using like the actual highlighter brushes that, you know, I've used in the past. It kind of, I like a sharp concentration with a little bit of blending. And mind you, before I started using this highlighter, which is the Glowworm highlighter by, or sorry, Moonlighter by Black Moon Cosmetics. So pretty. I love this highlighter. Okay, so now that I have everything else done, I'm going to go in with the lipstick. So today I'm using the Hazel lipstick by Black Moon Cosmetics. Against all the other green that I'm wearing, it looks a little bit brown, but I swear to God, it is a beautiful, like, olive green. And this is exactly what I wanted to match one of the shades that I'm wearing. For my eyeshadow, that is. It's really, really pretty. So as far as makeup is concerned, the one thing that I really think that I absolutely suck at is applying lip product. No matter how hard I try, I just can't do it right and make it look decent. Trust me, I've tried. Alright, so here is the completed look. Wow, that turned out really nice. Great, now I have lipstick on my teeth. That's awesome. That's great. So yeah, that is the completed look. I really like how it turned out. Just, wow. I'm really impressed with how this came out. It's lovely. And the shade Lafevelt is such a wonderful match to this. Really beautiful. So now that I'm done with this part, I'm going to get you to the outro of this video. Thank you so much for watching my makeup application nonsense. Trust me, it really is nonsense. I am shocking at doing lipstick. I really am. So guys, thank you so much for joining me for this launch of my new eyeshadow collection in collaboration with TaterRounds Beauty. This was so fun to create and I'm really proud of this collection and I really hope that whoever does buy it really does enjoy it. And again, for full transparency, I am going to be receiving a small commission from the purchase of these eyeshadows, so just bear that in mind. No pressure. Totally fine. And since I'm prettied up and have no place to go, I think I'll go ahead and just film an Absinthe review. I have several Absinthes I still need to get through to review, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons for your support every month. I really, really appreciate it. And to everyone, you're amazing. I love you, and I will see you guys later. Bye!